Hi there, Barb Pask again. Last couple nights I've set you up so you could see the whole canvas. You know, it's not a great angle when I got to thinking that now that I'm really zeroing in on some items that I just bring you in to watch that. It seemed to make more sense. This is the first large painting that I put on YouTube. I usually, as you know, paint smaller, about 8x10s, and I complete them usually in about an hour and a half. This one, I thought this would be fun. Initially, I thought do a great big one. I'll spread it out maybe over, 5 or 6 sessions. I don't know. I'd like your feedback on that. I mean, what would you prefer? I probably, once I finish this up, I'll go back to doing small ones. I enjoy it, and I think probably you enjoy seeing the finished painting quicker, maybe. So let me know what you think. So tonight we're going to, as you can see, I wiped some of that off last night. I'm going to clean some of this up and put the pattern back on. Pretty happy with this. Need to work on the highlight a little bit. Let me get a paper towel here. But there are advantages to standing and staying back on your brush. If you like things to be painterly, I think you get nicer edges. I mean, look at some of the edges on that picture. I like it. I like soft edges. Oh, I'm so sorry. Forgot to turn on my light over here. Let me take you with me. I'll show you my setup again. The light's off. You can see things better, actually. But let me turn my light on here. My blinding light. It really warms things up, doesn't it? And instead of making decisions, I'm thinking what I'm going to do is finish up this picture and the bowl. And then the next thing will be to bring my tulips in. Get my tulips in there like I want, and then proceed to paint the background and the foreground and do any final tweaks that I need to do. I'm actually waiting. I have one group of tulips that have bloomed, and they're really between a pink and a purple, and I've got a whole lot of others that are developing the heads, so I'm waiting to kind of see. I think I put in mostly pinks, and I like pinks, so waiting to see what I get. Still haven't made a decision on what I'll do, what kind of container I'll put them in. Not sure I want to put anything in here. I really am pleased with the way that looks. I really like the warmth in there. So, all right, let's get busy, and we'll clean up the picture, get our pattern on it. As you can see, I did put the number 3 on the crock last night after just kind of simple. Did it with a liner brush. All right, so this is kind of a dirty white, really. So we're going to try to mix up something similar to that again. I'm just putting the 3 primaries together. I'm adding some white. It's actually, brighter on this edge here. And we'll see how I can incorporate it. I may have to paint over the whole thing, and we'll see. Just try to slow down and enjoy the process. Made another one of those Blue Apron meals tonight. I mentioned that last night. Tonight was it's a chicken breast and potatoes and vegetables that were sauteed with balsamic vinegar, and the chicken breast had a dressing that I made, that Dijon mustard and mayonnaise, and very good. The meals are, gourmet. I think they come out like to $20 for 2 people. I mean, compared to going out to eat, that's not bad. Again, they're a lot of work. kind of nice to do with two people if you got somebody that would help you cook, somebody chopping. And I was on my own tonight, so it was a little hectic. Did the old Kroger pickup tonight. Seems to be getting better. We're getting more of what we order now. We just seem so terrified not to have every single food item in the house that we want. It's so funny. I told my husband, I think we can back off for a while. We get so much food in here. More food than we ever have in here. Really nice light shooting down here and kind of catching across there. I always try to paint what I see. You know, doesn't always work, and if you have never worked from life, I suggest you do. Just a exercise of painting what you see. It's really great. Even, you know, plein air or set up a still life. All right, let's look at the bowl now. The bowl is much whiter. Obviously, I just threw in some white there. So I'm going to go back to that, but let's move on for now. I thought about setting down at one point, but I can't really. That's the thing. I've started this still life, and I have to stand in the same position every night. So this stays the same, and this opening stays the same. You know, you got to commit yourself to it and stay in the same spot every time. I'm going to start with the darker side of the bowl. It's always darker here and brighter where it's catching light. And of course the hole underneath. See the charcoal line? I kind of try to look at the shape of it a little bit better before I started and drew it, kind of sketched it in again. Not too precisely though. Things with ellipses are a good challenge. I just think it's good to push yourself, you know, and try things. And there's some nice bright highlights in the bowl, so I've got to keep this darker than the highlight for that to show up. So, you know, I've got to keep that in mind. You're always better off, I think, to go a little darker with your whites. Like I say, it's amazing how dark you can go, and they still read white. Again, white palette paper is nice to have on your palette, and you can judge that's your lightest light that way. I got to bring that down, the opening. And the blue on here is just ultramarine deep. Let's just see now, just like if a highlight goes in there. Yeah, see, I've got it dark enough the highlight shows. Okay. This is a Rosemary and Company brush, but this is one of the Ivories, which is a stiffer brush. You see me mostly use the Evergreen series. I used these for a long time, and then I saw someone demoing with the Evergreen, and she's a very good artist. We're always looking for the magic brush, I think. Don't we wish, right? Don't we wish there was such a thing? There are occasions, I'm sure for you too, if you're an artist, where you do a painting and it just almost feels like it paints itself. Boy, it's just really great when that happens. I'm warming it up a little as it comes toward the front. It's a little brighter down in here. I know that doesn't feel quite right yet, but we will keep going till we get it. And it can help sometime to darken the edge a little bit to make the form turn away. It looks a little warped right now, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to switch to the the Evergreen brush. And we're going to play around with some detail that might help us make sure the shape is correct on it too. Broke down and made a couple masks today because they're saying here in Ohio they want us to start wearing them all the time. Crazy times, huh? If you follow me on Facebook, I shared a picture of it. I had seen some silly pictures of the things people are wearing to protect themselves, and I saw a picture of this man and woman out shopping, and they had sanitary napkins on their face. So I shared a picture of my mask and said, better than wearing that on your face, right? Oh my gosh. Passed a guy in a car coming home from Kroger's that he had a mask on driving. I think he was by himself. People are just scared, aren't they? You know, for years we've seen people in China wear a mask. I mean, who'd ever thought we'd have to? I guess they do that for pollution. I can see, so I'm wondering if this is deep enough actually. I don't think it is, because I can see a little bit of the shape down in the bowl. Let me look at it again. It probably, really wouldn't matter, except I want it needs to feel correct, probably, for that ellipse to feel correct. So let me look here. And the way I'm going to do that, when you measure, you want to put your arm straight out. Make sure it's absolutely straight when you measure. And okay, here's what I'm going to look at first. I'm going to measure across the rim of the pitcher for comparison. Okay, and then I'll bring it down to the bowl and measure the bowl. Let me do it again. Boy, it's pretty close to the same. So let's look at that. Keep the same straight arm, okay. Oh no, it's way off. Let me look again. Wait a minute. It's that size. No, it should be more down into here. Okay. So let's wipe some of that blue off so we don't smear it all over the place. Okay. Yeah, nobody might not know if it wasn't right, but well, part of my goal is to get it right. Plus, again, I think for this one to feel right, it has to, I don't know. Ooh, I don't like that value. See, I can see a little bit. Now, I don't know if it'll make sense if I put it in there. I can see a tiny little bit of blue in the bottom of it. But my guess is that won't read right, so let's just get rid of it. Might not make sense, to the viewer. And again, when I repaint all this background, we'll be able to go in and define the shape of the edge of this better. Now there is somewhat of a pattern on the front of this bowl, but I don't think I'm going to put it on. Reason being, I don't want it too busy, I don't think. I don't think I need it. I am going, there is a bit of blue at the very bottom of it though. I am going to put that in, down in here. Okay, and let's try our highlight now. I see a couple of them. See one there, and down in there, and on the rim here. Let's get, wait a minute, get a little more paint. Usually you can follow the highlight. It kind of goes in the same direction. I kind of wiped that one off because I wasn't happy with it. So let's look at the pattern on the picture. Again, it's nice if you're painting a pattern, if it's something that's hand painted on to begin with. Does that make sense? I'll grab my cane. See if I can do it without yanking you over. Hold on a sec. Not sure. See, I bought a cane years ago. It can be useful as a maul stick. We'll see here. I don't use one often, as you noticed. And I do want to look hand painted, so I don't care if I get, I don't want it to look too precise. Kind of tempted to paint it over. I don't know. There's kind of an X pattern that runs across, down into there. And then another heart here. Whoa, that's really not happy with that. So I'm thinking about just starting over. Just needs to be a dirty color on there. It doesn't really matter. I want to get a little darker over in here. No shame in doing it again. I mean, probably if you weren't here, I would be sitting down and doing it more precisely. And another option would be don't use a little liner brush, you know, use a square-ended. You saw me on here, I used the flat brush. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we won't get so precise. All right, again, this is just ultramarine blue. That's what's up here. It's ultramarine deep, I think, yeah. So we've got a kind of an X-shaped pattern actually in the middle. We were warm here today. It was so nice. I think it got up in the 70s. My poor husband's starting to tear off their deck. We're getting a patio poured. I've been wanting that for a while. It's funny, the things, we haven't got it off yet, but he got part of it off and carried in this little plastic bunny that I think I'd bought last year, you know, to put on the table. We didn't know where it went. It had teeth marks on it. So something got hold of it and drug it under the deck. So funny. We have lots of squirrels. I don't know if a squirrel will do that or not. We feed birds, but some days, oh my God, there's like a dozen squirrels around here. They're cute too. People kind of hate them, but you know, they got to eat too, and they're cute. They don't bother anything. They've never bothered anything here. I know they can chew into your attic, but we haven't had anything like that happen. We have a brick home, and what isn't brick is aluminum, so haven't had a problem. The thing with using this versus a liner brush is it is a lot more imperfect, which I kind of like. You know, how much of this do I want to put in? Let's get the little brush. We may put in our dots with that. Got a lot of little dots. And I'm not trying to replicate that pattern exactly. If this was a commission and this was a type of pottery that the person collected, you know, then you'd have to make it feel the same, but that's not the case here. I lighten some of it up. I see a little adjustment I need to make there to the bowl. I've said it before, but I consider myself an impressionist, so I'm never, you know, I want to be loose, and I don't want to explain everything. I think the bit of light blue there is kind of nice. It makes it feel like it has light on it. You know, maybe we'll put some of that in here too. I think that's enough detail. If we bring in the tulips, which we are bringing in the tulips, I made that decision to add to the arrangement. There's a very good chance they'll become our focal point anyway. Even this is more of a white color. I want to put a little warmth on it. Like I said, I did put the number 3, as you can see, on the crock last night. Pretty close. I feel as though I could darken the edge of the crock, you know, to explain the form a little bit better. You know, once we paint the background in, there's a very good chance we'll be tweaking a lot of this anyway. Well, that was about 35 minutes. Pretty quick, right? I don't know if this video has bored you. You know, give me feedback. Again, this will probably be the last time I do something like this. I just I have a need for speed. I like it to go quicker, and I just kind of threw some blue on the edge there. But again, once we get all the background painted, we'll come back and look at this stuff again. I've got a lot of work to do on the churn. We haven't explained the side at all. Give me a sec. I'm going to turn that light off over there. Get rid of that harsh light. because I think it's glaring. Yeah, who knows? The overhead light's really bright too. So that's where we are right now. There's the picture in the bowl. I think they feel pretty dimensional. I don't like that that goes uphill there. Okay. Always something. I think it feels pretty good. And the bowl, like I said, we'll look at the shape of the bowl again when we paint the whole background in. I feel as though this side has to come in a little bit yet. I don't know how it looks to you, but and of course we need our shadows everywhere. All right, that was a quickie. Made a little more progress. It's going to be a few days before I do another one because I'm waiting for my tulips to come out. Trying to see what colors I have. My plan is to put it over in this area. And I still haven't decided what container. I mentioned that last night. I have a lot of the green ball jars. Well, think about it. I have more pieces of this. No, it's different. Some other blue and white pottery too. I could lay them down. You know, I could put the tulips in water tubes so they would hold up for me for a little bit. But that's my plan. We're going to paint those in next, and then we'll paint the background in, and then we'll figure out the churn and start and go back and look at everything. I mean, a long way to go. But I'm liking elements of it, but it's not done till it's done. But yeah, give me feedback if you think of some way best to do the tulips, a container. Like I said, over there I have a little glass vase, which might be pretty, the clear glass vase. Or of course the ball jar. I'm going to be thinking about it. You think about it too, and join you next time when I get some tulips. All right. Have a good evening. Like and subscribe. See you soon.